The secret I never spoke it started so innocently, so dangerously innocently, that I almost convinced myself I wasn't doing anything wrong. When I reconnected with my old classmate at a school reunion, it felt like stepping into a time machine. There he was, the boy who once passed me notes during exams, who teased me mercilessly but never cruelly, whose laughter still sounded like the same unpolished melody I remembered. Except he wasn't a boy anymore. He was older, sharper, more confident. And when his eyes met mine, there was something electric, something I hadn't felt in years. We talked for hours, the kind of conversation that skips over small talk and plunges straight into the depths of memory and dreams. I didn't notice how quickly the night passed, how the room around us blurred until it felt like we were the only two people left in the world. And yet, I never told him. I never said the words that would have changed everything. I'm married. It wasn't that I planned to betray my husband that night. I told myself it was just nostalgia, just friendship. But deep down, I knew silence was its own kind of lie. Days turned into weeks. My classmate began messaging me. At first, harmless jokes, then longer talks, then late-night confessions dripping with warmth and longing. And still I said nothing. Each time he asked about my life, I dodged the question, shifted the subject, or gave vague half-answers. He assumed I was single, and I let him believe it. It felt thrilling, intoxicating, to be wanted again, not as someone's wife, not as someone's mother, but as me. I didn't realize how much I had missed that feeling until I tasted it again. But secrets are hungry things. They demand to be fed, and mine grew fangs the day he confessed. I think I've been falling for you since the reunion. My chest tightened. I wanted to say it then, to finally admit the truth. But his voice trembled with such raw honesty that the words stuck in my throat. I couldn't bear to shatter it. So I let him fall deeper, knowing all the while that I was building a house of glass one storm away from shattering. The storm came sooner than I thought. It was a simple mistake, a photo on social media. A picture of me and my husband at a family gathering, our hands intertwined, his wedding ring glinting under the light. I hadn't even thought twice about posting it. But within hours, my classmates saw it. The messages came fast, furious, like knives thrown one after another. Are you married? How long have you been lying to me? Do you have any idea what you've done? I stared at the screen, numb, my secret collapsing around me. I tried to explain. Tried to say I hadn't meant to hurt him, that I just wanted to hold on to something sweet, something harmless. But he wasn't listening. His words cut deeper than any truth I could offer. You didn't just betray him, you betrayed me, too. The fallout was brutal. He blocked me everywhere. At the next reunion, he didn't even look in my direction. And though my husband never found out, the guilt burned me alive in silence. Because betrayal isn't always the moment you cross the line. Sometimes it's the moment you choose silence instead of truth. And I will always remember the way his face looked when he realized who I really was, not the girl he thought he was falling for, but a woman who built her connection with him on a lie. Continuation, the ghost of my silence after he blocked me. Life should have gone back to normal. My husband was none the wiser, my family life untouched on the surface. I still woke up to the same routine, coffee in the morning, the same conversations, the same patterns of everyday marriage. But inside, something had changed forever. It wasn't just guilt, it was the echo of what I had destroyed. I replayed his words in my head over and over. You didn't just betray him, you betrayed me, too. His voice haunted me in quiet moments while folding laundry, while lying in bed beside my husband, while staring at my reflection in the mirror. I began to wonder, had I betrayed myself most of all? Then one day, everything began to unravel. It started with a phone call. My husband answered, his tone sharp, his expression darkening as he listened. I froze, recognizing the voice on the other end, my classmate. He had unblocked me not to reconcile, but to expose. When my husband hung up, his eyes locked on me with a fury I had never seen before. Is it true? He demanded. Did you pretend to be single? Did you lead him on? My mouth went dry. I tried to explain, to tell him it wasn't physical, that it was only conversations, only nostalgia. But my excuses crumbled the moment I saw the betrayal in his eyes. "It doesn't matter if you didn't touch him," he said coldly. "You gave him something that belonged to us, honesty." The weeks that followed were a blur of silence and tension. He moved through the house like a stranger, avoiding me, avoiding our children, avoiding everything except his own seething thoughts. I thought the worst was over until whispers began spreading in our community. It turned out my classmate hadn't stopped with my husband. He told others. Old friends from school, mutual acquaintances, even some of my husband's colleagues. Suddenly, I was branded as the woman who had played to men, the one who couldn't stay faithful even in conversation. At the grocery store, I felt the stares. At school drop-offs, I heard the murmurs. My silence, once my shield, had become my executioner. But betrayal has layers. The deepest came not from my husband or my classmate, but from my own children. One night, I overheard my teenage daughter whispering to a friend on the phone, "I don't trust her anymore. She lies too easily." Those words cut deeper than anything else. She hadn't even known the full story, but she sensed it, the fracture in me, the dishonesty I had carried like a second skin. And yet, I couldn't let it end there. A part of me still burned with defiance. If my classmate wanted to ruin me, I would not let him walk away clean. I began digging into his life, quietly, carefully, and I found what I was looking for: secrets of his own. A marriage barely holding together. A reputation at work far more fragile than mine. I faced a choice: expose him, destroy him as he had destroyed me, or step back and let the flames consume only me. For weeks, I wrestled with the decision. Vengeance called to me, but so did the faint hope of redemption. In the end, I chose silence again. But this time, it wasn't the silence of deception. It was the silence of letting go. My husband never fully forgave me. Our marriage became a hollow version of what it once was, more partnership than love. My classmate disappeared from my life completely, his name now a wound I didn't dare touch. My children learned a lesson about truth, but at the cost of their trust in me. And I learned that betrayal doesn't always come from grand gestures or stolen kisses. Sometimes it's born from the simplest choice, the choice not to speak when you should. And sometimes silence can be the loudest betrayal of all.